Discover the incredible truth, how a girl's unexpected pregnancy changed her life forever. Emily had dreams as vibrant as the splashes of paint on her canvas. A small-town girl, she lived in a cramped apartment with her parents, each day filled with the cacophony of her mother's 3 jobs and her father's quiet resilience. Art was her escape, her voice, so she poured her heart into the sketches tucked under her bed. College was on the horizon, and she could almost taste the freedom, the chance to chase her passions, but then, the shock hit like a lightning bolt. One day, as she stared at her reflection in the mirror, the truth poured over her: she was pregnant. The room spun, her heart raced, and a cold dread settled in her stomach. How could this happen? She felt like a tornado had ripped through her carefully paved path. The dreams she held so close now felt like distant stars, slipping through her fingers. When she broke the news to her mother, the air thickened with silence. Eyes welled up with tears, mixed with disbelief. "Emily, what about your art? Your future?" There was love in her mother's voice, but also an undeniable weight of disappointment. Her dad, a man of few words, stood rigid beside her. His lips pressed into a thin line, as if holding back a storm of emotions of his own. As whispers of judgment echoed down school hallways, friends who once cheered her on now seemed to shrink away. Emily could feel the stares, the hushed conversations, the coldness. It was as if one little secret had created a chasm between her and the world she used to know. She isolated herself, fearing the worst, haunted by the what ifs and how could yous. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. With nothing left but her sketches, Emily dove deeper into her art. Each stroke was a catharsis, a way to shout her truth against the noise. She painted her fears, hopes, and confusion. The pieces transformed into a whirlwind of emotions, raw and pulsating with life. The upcoming art showcase loomed larger, and it became her lifeline, a chance to prove to the world and herself that she was still rising. But as the exhibit day approached, the stress gnawed at her. She put distance between herself and her parents, convinced she must shoulder this burden alone. How could she share the half-formed dreams tangled up with responsibility? The night of the showcase arrived, and the air buzzed with anticipation. Emily took a deep breath, her heart pounding, as she unveiled her series of paintings, images capturing her tumultuous journey. Each piece spoke volumes, and the audience held their breath. In that charged moment, her mother's disappointment clashed with her unwavering love, her father wrestled with fears hidden behind stoic eyes. Emily stood there at a crossroads, enveloped in a whirlwind of emotions, her ambitions tangled with the weight of her new reality. Would her family's love pull them closer together or tear them further apart? As the audience awaited her words, the tension simmered, and the question lingered. What path would Emily choose when it felt like everything was at stake? Emily stood before the crowd, her heart racing, as their eyes locked onto her with anticipation. The lights dimmed, casting a soft glow over her paintings. Each stroke of the brush had captured a piece of her soul, yet standing there, she felt more exposed than she ever had before. What did they see? Was it just a girl? Or could they sense the complexity of her turmoil, the heart behind the art? She took a deep breath, steadied her shaking hands, and stepped closer to the podium. The whispers of judgment she'd endured echoed in her mind, but in that moment, something shifted inside her. Perhaps she could turn their gazes of scrutiny into something more, into understanding, acceptance. The realization hit her with a newfound clarity. This was her chance to share her story. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice gaining strength with each word. "This series is more than just paintings, it's about me, and a journey I never expected." Eyes widened as she continued, "I've faced fear and doubt, and yes, unexpected joy. I painted what I felt, a mix of confusion, pain, and love." As she spoke, Emily could see flickers of recognition among the faces. Some nodded, others leaned in closer. Maybe they had also felt lost in their lives or had dreams rerouted in an instant. With every word, she stripped away the layers of shame, exposing her vulnerable self. The audience was quiet, hanging on her every syllable. Just then, she spotted her mother in the front row. Tears glimmered in her eyes as she clutched the edge of her chair. The weight of disappointment still lingered in the air around them, but there was something else now, a glimmer of understanding, perhaps even pride. "I still want to pursue my dreams," Emily declared, her voice fortifying like steel. "Becoming a mother doesn't mean I can't be an artist. It means I have a different canvas to paint on now." She hesitated for a moment, the gravity of her words sinking in. "This child is a part of me, and they inspire me to be better, to create more beautifully." A soft murmur rippled through the audience, and Emily felt a flutter of hope. Her father had begun to lean forward, and for the first time in weeks, she caught his gaze. It was softening. The stoic facade seemed to crack just a little, and her heart swelled at the possibility of connection. With a final glance at her artwork, Emily took a step back from the podium. She felt lighter, as if the weight of her secret was now shared and validated. "Thank you for listening to my truth," she said, emotion thick in her voice. "I hope this can inspire others struggling with their own unexpected journeys." The applause began as she stepped down from the stage. It was hesitant at first, then it grew louder, filling her with a warmth she hadn't felt in what seemed like ages. It was acceptance, it was love, and perhaps most importantly, it was the beginning of a new chapter. After the show, as the crowd dispersed, Emily's heart trembled with uncertainty. She approached her mother, who had risen from her seat. "Emily, but before she could finish, something inside Emily shifted. "Mom, let us talk." Their eyes locked, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like they were standing on the brink of a breakthrough. Emily took a deep breath, ready to face the next step, the uncertain road ahead, with all its fears and hopes. What would they discover as they shared their truths? Would this fragile bridge lead them to healing? Emily stepped towards her mother, feeling a strange blend of fear and hope swirling inside her. The bright lights still flickered around them, but all she could focus on was the familiar face that had been a constant part of her life. "Can we go somewhere quieter?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Her mother nodded and led the way to a small, less crowded corner of the gallery. The noise faded slightly, but Emily could still feel the weight of the evening pressing down on her. Each heartbeat pulsed with anticipation. Memories flooded back, the endless rehearsals for school plays, the laughter they shared over paint stains, and the last time they had a heart-to-heart about dreams. "Emily," her mother began as they settled onto a small wooden bench. "I didn't know you felt so strongly." There was a tremor in her voice, and Emily could see her mother searching for the right words. "What I said on stage, it's true," Emily interrupted, the urgency in her voice breaking through the tension. "I want to be an artist. Having a baby doesn't change that for me. It changes everything, yes, but it also gives me a reason to create." Her mother looked down, biting her lip. I worry about you, about what everyone will think. I didn't want you to struggle, I know, Mom, but it's not just about struggling. It's about exploring, figuring out who I am now." Emily felt her own resolve building. "I want you to see me, not just as your daughter or the girl who got pregnant, but as someone who is trying to find her voice." Silence hung between them, a quiet moment where the air felt charged. Her mother finally lifted her gaze. "I see you trying, Em. But this path, it's scary. Life is scary. But if I don't take this chance, I'd be living half a life." "That's not who I am," Emily said firmly. "Can't you see that? If I don't show up for myself, how can I show up for my baby?" Tears brimmed in her mother's eyes once again, but this time they were different. They shimmered with something akin to pride, acceptance. "I just want you to be happy." "I want that too," Emily replied, feeling a swell of emotion rising within her. "But I need you to believe in me, Mom. I need us to create a new kind of relationship, one where we can both be real." The corners of her mother's lips twitched, almost forming a smile. "I'm trying, Emily. I really am." They shared a fragile but warm moment, a thin thread weaving their hearts closer together. Emily reached for her mother's hand, and they held on tightly, anchoring themselves to the possibility that awaited them both. But before Emily could utter another word, a voice rang out from the crowd. It was Hannah, her close friend, excitement evident in her tone. Emily, you won't believe it. Your paintings are turning heads. There's an artist studio interested in collaborating. Emily's heart leapt at the news, but the moment felt bittersweet. Would her mom still be there as she journeyed into this new chapter? Mom, what if she hesitated, wrestling with the edges of her fear and hope? What if I take that opportunity? Her mother's eyes widened, uncertainty creeping back, but then a small, encouraging nod broke the tension. Then I'll be right by your side, okay? With a new fire igniting her spirit, Emily smiled. They both took a deep breath as they prepared for whatever the future held. Yet doubt lingered, whispering whether they could truly navigate this together. The night hadn't ended, it felt like a beginning. As they stood, Emily realized the real journey was just starting. A thought bubbled to the surface, pushing through the layers of her heart. How would they redefine their paths together? What was waiting for them just around the corner? Emily's heart raced as she glanced around the gallery, still buzzing from Hannah's unexpected news. The possibility of a collaboration felt exhilarating, and yet, the weight of the moment pressed heavily. She wasn't just a budding artist anymore, she was about to become a mother. Each thought jostled for her attention, but all she could focus on was the warmth of her mother's hand in hers. Are you okay? Her mother asked, concern flickering across her face. It was the same expression Emily had seen countless times, always ready to shield her from the world. You seem overwhelmed. Yeah, a bit, Emily admitted, her mind racing. But this opportunity, it's huge. Her mother nodded, but her gaze drifted. I just don't want you to lose yourself in all of this change. Your dreams still matter. I won't lose myself, I promise, Emily said, squeezing her mother's hand tighter. In fact, this makes me want to fight harder for my dreams. I want to show my baby that chasing after what you love is important. The energy in the gallery had shifted. The crowd was now buzzing with murmurs and laughter. Emily could hear snippets of praise for her artwork, and her heart swelled. She had poured her soul into each piece, and now it felt like they were being recognized in a way she had longed for. Do you want to go talk to them? Her mother suggested, a hint of hesitation in her voice. About the studio? Emily took a deep breath, the weight of possibility settling into her chest. Yes. I think I need to. But what if they don't like my work? What if I screw this up? A new wave of doubt washed over her, catching her off guard. Emily, you've always faced your fears head-on, her mother reassured her. You're strong. You can do this. But could she? Emily had never thought of herself as strong, just passionate. Suddenly, the noise around her faded, the vibrant colors of the gallery dimming slightly. If they reject me, she murmured, fear clinging to her voice, what will that mean for everything? I think it means you're brave enough to put your heart out there, her mother replied softly, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. It means you're taking a chance on yourself and your art. That's a big chance, Emily said, uncertainty lingering like a thick fog. It is, her mother agreed, but wouldn't you rather know than wonder what if for the rest of your life? You won't be alone in this. We're in it together. That reassurance cracked something open in Emily. The thought of taking that leap stirred a sense of determination deep within. Maybe it was time to embrace the unknown. Okay. Let us do it. With her heart still racing, they walked through the crowd, hand in hand. Emily's breathing steadied, her nerves mingling with the thrill of what lay ahead. Every step felt like a small victory, a testament to the new pathway she was carving for herself and her baby. As they neared the group, Emily caught sight of the studio's director, a woman with bright red hair and an infectious smile. She was animatedly gesturing toward Emily's paintings as if they were the masterpiece of the evening. Emily! Hannah exclaimed again, beaming with pride. This is your moment. But just as Emily stepped forward, a sharp pain shot through her stomach. She halted, panic flooding her senses. Mom! She gasped, clutching her belly. What is it? Are you okay? Her mother's voice tightened with concern. Emily felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. In that instant, a question haunted her. Was her body ready for this journey? As the room began to spin, uncertainty loomed once more. What if everything she had dreamed of hung in the balance? And just like that, Emily faced the ultimate crossroads, the dream she longed for, or the new life she carried within her. What would she choose? Emily's breath hitched as she gripped her belly tighter, the pain so sudden it stole the air from her lungs. The vibrant chatter around her blurred into a hum, distant and hollow. Her mother's hands were warm and steady, but the panic swirling inside her made it hard to find comfort. I'm not sure, she stammered, her voice shaky. It hurts, Mom. With a quick nod, her mother began guiding her away from the crowd, her support acting like an anchor, grounding Emily amidst the chaos. Hannah's voice faded into the background, concern etched on her face as she stepped aside, allowing the two to find a quieter corner. Sit down for a moment. Breathe. Her mother guided Emily to a nearby bench, the wood cool against her legs. Emily could feel her heart pounding, matching the rhythm of her fretful thoughts. You need to calm down, it's just a bit of discomfort. Maybe it's the nerves. Nerves. The word echoed hollowly in Emily's head. What if this is more than nerves? She thought. Doubt loomed like dark clouds overhead, threatening to overshadow the rest of the night. What if this moment, the one she had been waiting for, slipped away before she could grasp it tightly? As she took deep breaths, she noticed her mother's watchful eyes, tracking Emily's every move. Look at me, her mother said gently. You're strong. You were always strong, even when you didn't know it. You can do this. Emily squeezed her eyes shut, trying to focus on her mother's words. Strong, she thought. Yet, with each breath, her thoughts danced between fear and hope. What would it mean for her art? For becoming a mother? As she opened her eyes again, a wave of fresh resolve surged within her. Whatever happens, it's okay to feel scared, isn't it? She said, meeting her mother's gaze. Absolutely, her mother replied, her voice soothing like a balm. But don't let that fear stop you. You have this amazing opportunity ahead of you. Don't forget about that. Just as Emily began to settle her heart, something inside her shifted. It was like the first light of dawn cutting through the darkness. The pain, although still there, began to feel secondary to the dreams she now had to fight for, not just for herself, but for the little life within her. What if I mess everything up? She whispered, her voice small, fear flickering in her chest. Her mother's face softened, a warm smile breaking through the tension. And what if you don't? What if this is the first of many incredible moments in your life? You have a gift, Emily. Don't hide it away. With those words, Emily's anxiety transformed slowly into excitement. Her art had always been a part of her identity, but now it intertwined with her new journey of motherhood. An odd but beautiful blend of creativity and nurturing. I want to show my baby that it's okay to dream big, she murmured, eyes bright with newfound determination. Her mother nodded, pride shining in her eyes. Then you have to go for it. All in. Taking a steadying breath, Emily rose from the bench, each step back toward the crowd fueled by purpose. She felt lighter, empowered. Something was shifting beyond her physical realm, her heart was blossoming. As she moved closer to the group again, she caught the director's eye, who looked more curious than ever. The noise of the gallery surged around her, yet now it felt electric, inviting. But just as she prepared herself to step forward and share her story, a small wave of discomfort surged once more, stronger than before. This time, it wasn't just doubt creeping in, it was fear of what the future held. Emily paused, her heart in her throat. Would she stand up for her dreams? Or would she retreat? Whatever unfolded next would reshape everything. Would she embrace the unknown fully, or step back once more? Emily's thoughts raced as she stood at the edge of the crowd. The vibrant gallery, typically a source of inspiration and joy, now felt suffocating. She glanced back at her mother, who gave a reassuring nod, a silent message of faith seeping in between the chaos. Taking a deep breath, Emily tried to focus on the life blossoming inside her, a spark of undeniable love. With every flutter, she felt the little one cheering her on, reminding her that she wasn't just an individual anymore. She was someone's mother. -to-be.it took a moment, but then, with determination coursing through her veins, Emily took a step forward. The crowd dared to form before her, a patchwork of lively faces, all pregnant with curiosity. She locked eyes with the director, whose attention remained unwavering, waiting expectantly. "Hi everyone," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, but determination fueled her. "I know this is unexpected, but I want to share something important." As she spoke, she felt the stories within her bubbling to the surface. The colors, the motions, the whispers of hope wrapped around her words, stitching them together like vibrant threads in a tapestry. She couldn't ignore the waves of pain washing over her, yet they transformed, swirling into an energy that ignited an inner fire. "I've always believed that art should reflect the beauty and chaos of life," she continued, her confidence growing. "But tonight, it feels more personal than ever." A small gasping sound escaped her lips as the discomfort came back, sharper this time, dragging her focus back inward. But as she clutched her belly, she knew she couldn't falter. How could she? Her journey was now woven into this moment. Emily's eyes darted among the audience, a mix of astonishment and admiration shimmering in their gazes. "Life is unpredictable," she said, "but it's also a canvas of possibilities. I've learned that I shouldn't shy away from my dreams, no matter how daunting they seem." A slight murmur spread through the crowd, but it only galvanized her spirit. She could feel the warmth from her mother radiating outward, pushing her forward. "That is why I'm standing here, an artist, a mother, and a believer in the beauty of dreams." Just then, a sudden sharpness sliced through her torso. She gasped, swaying slightly. Gritting her teeth, she steadied herself, refusing to let fear dictate her actions. The room dimmed, the wisps of claustrophobia starting to choke her resolve, but she fought against it. "I might be scared," Emily said, her voice trembling but strong. "But I refuse to let that stop me. I can feel the creativity flowing through me, and this baby, this life growing inside me, it reminds me to take leaps, to paint the world bigger. I want to show my child that obstacles can become beautiful things, just like fear can inspire love." Each word felt like a brushstroke on a canvas. Unconventional and chaotic, but so filled with heart that the audience leaned closer, enraptured. They could sense her urgency, they needed to hear what came next. As the crowd erupted into applause, Emily felt hope blossom within her chest. What had felt like a retreat transformed into a celebration of new beginnings. For a moment, she was no longer just a young woman with a passion for art, she was a beacon of resilience. But just as she relished the moment, another wave of discomfort surged painfully through her. It was a sharp reminder of the reality of her condition hitting her hard. Her breath hitched, anticipation coursing through her. What would happen next? Would she embrace the full power of creation ahead, or would the fear of the unknown pull her back from this burgeoning dream? The applause faded, leaving an echo that danced in Emily's ears. For a heartbeat, she felt untouchable, buoyed by the positive energy of the moment. But with another pang of discomfort, that feeling slipped away. Her heart raced, and she gripped her belly tighter, trying to summon the strength to push through. "Are you okay?" A voice broke through the haze. It was Jamie, her closest friend, stepping into her line of sight, the concern etched all over her face. The warmth of Jamie's hand slid onto Emily's back, steadying her, like a lighthouse in a storm. "Yeah, I'm fine," Emily managed, though her voice wavered. "I just need to breathe." She took a step back from the spotlight, the pulsating crowd still watching her, but this time they felt like shadows. Perhaps the weight of expectation was too heavy. Maybe sharing this news had been a mistake. Anxiety coiled around her like a snake. "Let us get some fresh air," Jamie suggested, guiding her away from the gathering. The gallery's vibrant colors blurred into a haze as Emily staggered into the cool night air outside. The relief was immediate, like a balm on her frayed nerves. "Why didn't you tell me how you were feeling?" Jamie asked softly, worry in her eyes. I thought I could handle it," Emily replied, trying to catch her breath. "I was so excited to share, to be here, but now it feels overwhelming." "Your feelings matter too, Em. Art is one thing, but this is your life and your baby. You don't have to carry it all alone." Emily leaned against the cool brick wall, exhaling shakily. Jamie's words hung in the air around her, clearing the cobwebs from her mind. "You're right. I don't have to pretend everything is perfect." A thought pushed to the forefront. How could she showcase her art while struggling with these raw feelings? She wanted to show the world the beauty of her journey, but part of her feared the vulnerability it entailed. Listen, Jamie said, drawing closer, you have an incredible story. Your honesty, your fears, they're just as important as the art itself. They're part of the canvas. Emily needed time to let that sink in. She closed her eyes and focused on the gentle flutter inside her. What if they don't accept my reality? What if they don't understand? I think they will, Jamie urged, a confident spark lighting her eyes. People crave authenticity. Just be yourself. Share what truly moves you. With that, a thread of courage tugged at Emily's heart, challenging her to lace her emotions into her artwork. Could she really create something beautiful from her chaos? Torn in two directions, she faced the uncertainty of her future and the undeniable pull to embrace her reality. A shift was brewing, and the night felt charged with possibility. If she could reveal her truth, it might spark inspiration, not just for herself but for others lost in their fears. As Emily looked back into the gallery, she could see their expectant faces. What awaited her inside? Acceptance, rejection, or something even deeper? In that moment, she swore to herself, she would step back into the light. She would paint her truth, fear and all, splash it across the world. But as she turned to face Jamie, another ripple of pain echoed through her, stronger than before. The calm she had found at that moment faltered, and her heart raced with urgency. Could she truly handle both the fears of being a mother and the demands of being an artist? What would happen when she faced the crowd again, the people waiting for more than just words? Emily took a deep breath, her heart racing, the pulse in her belly a steady reminder of the life she now carried. She had felt so empowered, standing in front of the crowd, yet now that strength wavered as she faced the paradox of her reality. How could she both embrace the gift of motherhood and pour her soul into her art? Hey, Em, you good? Jamie's voice was a lifeline that tethered her to the moment. The question begged a simple answer, but it became tangled in the complexity of Emily's emotions. I need to be everything, she murmured, almost to herself. But what if I fail? What if I can't do it all? Jamie shifted closer, her brow furrowed with genuine concern. Failure isn't the worst thing that could happen. What's worse is not trying at all, living in fear of what people might think. Emily nodded, releasing a shaky breath into the night. She felt the weight of Jamie's words, but the doubt slithered back. What if they look at me differently? I'm just supposed to be this artist, not a mother yet. Emily, Jamie began, her voice firm, you're not defined by one label. You're strong, talented, and now you're becoming a mother. All those layers make you who you are. The flickering streetlights illuminated the street, casting a warm glow that wrapped around them like an embrace. Emily closed her eyes, imagining her art evolving, shifting, filled with the colors of her emotions. What Jamie said echoed in her mind, share what truly moves you. Maybe it was time to embrace all of who she was. Maybe I should let them see the truth, she whispered, testing the words. Could this journey of motherhood become a part of the narrative in her art? Could rawness resonate with others? Exactly. I believe in you, Em, Jamie said with urgency, squeezing Emily's shoulder. Your struggles, your victories, they're all stories waiting to be told. This could change everything. Feeling a warmth spread through her, Emily opened her eyes. It felt surreal to think about bearing herself before a crowd. Her glossy visions of art suddenly transformed into stark brushstrokes of vulnerability. The idea both frightened and exhilarated her. I want it to be real, she said, taking a step back towards the entrance. I want to show them the messy, beautiful truth, but what if they react badly? Then you know you touched a nerve, Jamie replied. You have the ability to connect people through what you share. As they walked towards the gallery's entrance, another wave of discomfort crashed through Emily, gripping her in its throes. What if my art isn't enough? What if it all crumbles? Jamie halted, turning to face her with fierce intensity. What you create is already enough, Em. You simply need to pour your heart into it. Let them see you. Let them feel every bit of what you're feeling. In that moment, Emily felt a flicker of hope. She could imagine blending the beauty of motherhood with the struggles of being an artist, creating works that reflected her journey. But then, as anxiety mingled with excitement, Emily thought of the crowd again. What if they didn't understand? What if her art fell flat? As they approached the gallery's doors, heartbeats echoed like drums, and Emily rubbed her belly as if seeking comfort. "Are you ready?" Jamie asked, her eyes glinting with encouragement. Emily took a deep breath, steeling herself for the moment. With one last look at the night sky, she glimpsed the uncertainty ahead. Would she truly find solace and identity in this new role? Would the crowd embrace her truth? As the door swung open, the soft buzz of conversation washed over her. She stepped inside, heart pounding, gazing at the familiar faces, all curious, all waiting. Would they be ready for her truth? Caught in the threshold of the gallery, Emily stood poised between who she was and who she was becoming. Everything she sought, everything she feared, lay before her. Was she brave enough to take that leap? The noise of the gallery embraced Emily like a warm summer breeze. She felt the energy of the crowd tugging at her, making her pulse quicken. Familiar faces turned toward her, the anticipation skimming over their expressions like ripples on water. But there was a nagging doubt at the back of her mind, whispering fears that clawed at her heart. "Keep your chin up," Jamie murmured beside her, barely more than a whisper but enough to anchor Emily in reality. Emily scanned the room, her breath hitching in her throat. She saw her old art school friends, eager smiles painted across their faces, and older patrons admiring other pieces with intent expressions. Each person was a reminder of who she had been, a carefree artist. Now, they were about to meet the new Emily, the one with a child nestled in her belly, the one who felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. As Jamie pushed her gently further inside, Emily felt the reactions building like the crescendo of a symphony. Would they embrace this new chapter in her life, or would they recoil from the honesty she was desperate to give? "Just be you," Jamie said again, her words a persistent melody in the chaos. With a deep breath, Emily moved past the first cluster of people, her eyes drawn to the blank canvas at the center of the gallery. It stood untouched, waiting for her vision to come alive. For a moment, she imagined every layer of color telling her story, the joy, the confusion, the rawness of now. It was terrifying to think of transforming such intangible feelings into something tangible, something others would see. "Are you going to say something?" Jamie prompted, nudging Emily lightly. Emily swallowed hard. She hadn't planned on speaking, the thought paralyzed her. What could she say that would encapsulate what this all meant? "Hey everyone, I'm creating art about my unexpected journey into motherhood." It felt like the setup for a punchline in a world that preferred tidy definitions, but suddenly, vulnerability ignited a spark. Her mind raced back to the speech she had initially delivered, the power of claiming her space, her voice. "Maybe I can do this," she whispered, half to herself, and then, with trembling hands, she reached for the microphone. A hush fell over the crowd, excited whispers fading as the light dimmed, drawing attention solely to her. Her heart raced audibly, but she pressed on. "I haven't really known what to say until now." She heard her breath, felt herself grounding in this shared space. "I want to share something real with you tonight. This isn't just about art. This is about life, my life, your lives. It's messy and beautiful, and I'm scared. But I want to invite you into my story." Faces shifted from curiosity to fascination. She locked eyes with one close friend who looked both proud and sympathetic, a smile spreading across her lips. "It feels all-consuming sometimes, this journey toward motherhood. There's joy, there's fear, and then there are those moments when you feel like you're losing yourself." Every word felt like a brushstroke, and Emily's heart thumped to the rhythm of her voice. She could see Jamie cheering her on in the corner of her eye, and suddenly, the floor felt less shaky under her feet. "What I'm learning is that I don't have to choose between art and motherhood. I can blend them, create from that chaos, let my experiences flow into my work." Each sentence felt liberating, releasing the heaviness that had gripped her since she had found out about the baby. The crowd's expressions shifted, intrigue lighting their features. "Art is life. And life isn't neat. It's a collage of colors and emotions." As she spoke, she noticed a few tears glistening in eyes around her, including her own. Those reflections felt like validation, a confirmation that she was doing exactly what she had come to share. But as she wrapped up her thoughts, a weight dropped back into her stomach. What if even now, with her heartfelt speech, she didn't resonate with everyone? What if her truth fell flat for those who thought art should be something pretty and polished? With that unsettling thought lingering, she stepped back from the microphone, her heart divided between overflowing hope and looming doubt. Was her truth powerful enough to connect? As she looked out into the audience, a wave of uncertainty washed over her again, reminding her that the journey was far from over. Yet, in the sea of faces hopeful for her revelation, a new question emerged. Would she discover the voice that could transform her fear into a canvas of strength? Emily's breath caught, each heartbeat resonating with something deeper than just her own feelings. She had bared her soul, standing before a crowd that felt simultaneously like a familiar embrace and an unforgiving judgment. The words had spilled out of her in a rush, but now, in the silence that enveloped the gallery, she felt the weight of the moment settle in. The audience's response began as a gentle ripple, soft gasps and exchanged looks of understanding. As seconds ticked by, the expressions of friends morphed from concern to pride, reflecting every color of hope she had poured into her paintings. Emily could almost sense the collective heartbeat, a rhythm that pulsed with her own, lifting her spirit even as anxiety tugged at her. Then, like a spark igniting dry brush, the applause erupted. It rolled across the space, filling the room with warmth, but more importantly, it filled Emily with courage. Tears pricked the corners of her eyes as she stood still, absorbing this newfound energy. This was acceptance, love, and the promise of connection. Her gaze caught her mother's, who sat in the front row, eyes wide and glistening. It was a gaze rich with recognition, the invisible threads of doubt they had both clung to unraveling before them. Not only was Emily becoming an artist, but she was also stepping into the role of a mother. They had stood on a shaky precipice, but now, perhaps, they were finding solid ground beneath their feet. I want you all to look at my art and see not just paint on a canvas, but a journey, a transformation, Emily said, her voice steadying as confidence swelled within her. I want to show you the beauty in every struggle I faced, how my fears transformed into passion, and how that passion lit the path to a new life. With every word, she saw nods and smiles pass through the crowd, a silent acknowledgement of the complexities they all faced. This felt like a community, a shared experience of stepping into the unknown. And then, something remarkable happened. A woman from deep within the crowd stood, tears spilling down her cheeks. I had no idea you were going through this, too, she called out, her voice full of emotion. It makes me feel less alone. The sentiment echoed throughout the room, voices rising as people began to share their own stories, lives intertwined in this unexpected tapestry. Emily felt her heart swell and expand. Those whispers of fear dissipated, replaced by a sense of unity. Conversations sparked, connections formed, and in that moment, her art transcended mere expression. It became a bridge built from shared truth. Thank you for being brave enough to share, someone else shouted from the crowd, igniting another round of applause. Every clap felt like a cheer of encouragement pushing Emily forward. Turning back to her mother, she saw a complete shift, a glow of pride radiating from the woman who had once stood in disappointment. It was heartwarming, a magnetic pull that yanked Emily closer to the possibility of true emotional connection. Their gaze locked, and in that moment, she felt an undisputed alliance blooming between them. We can do this together, right? Emily asked, her voice steady, finally brimming with assurance, the kind that flows from a place of love and belonging. Her mother nodded slowly, a smile inching across her face. I've always wanted you to be happy. What makes you happy is what matters most. A moment of silence passed between them, laden with realization their relationship was not just of mother and daughter now but of two individuals navigating their intertwined paths. Before she exited the spotlight, Emily turned back one more time, her heart pounding with anticipation. Transformation doesn't come easy, she said, feeling the weight of her own truth. But sometimes, we find strength in unexpected places, in the depth of our fears and the promise of love. Here's to creating a new story, together. The applause erupted again, a symphony of support that wrapped around her like a warm embrace. With her heart racing, Emily stepped away from the podium, excitement bubbling within her. As she exited the gallery, the night felt alive with a newly forged connection with her mother, an audience ready to embrace her truth, and the pulse of creativity awakening anew. She could feel the life within her stir, communication bound in every flutter. This was only the beginning, the start of a beautifully chaotic story. With the ink of her dreams still wet, and the canvas of her future expansive before her, Emily felt the sun rising on the horizon. Together with her baby and the love that enveloped her, she was ready to paint her masterpiece. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories about transformation and inspiration. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the community thriving. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. The stories of change and resilience are meant to be celebrated, and only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.